Welcome back to Princesscoree. Hello guys. Happy new month. It's so good to see you here for another video. 3rd of May. Listen, I have no concept of time. Let's keep it rolling. Happy new month. It's the 3rd of May. Here I am. Today we're alchemizing and transmuting energy, taking my focus from something that's trying to hijack my mind and transmuting that into creating something long-lasting. A heartfelt, well-informed message for you, my beautiful audience. Let's get into today's topic. This is a message straight from my heart. No over strategizing what would make the video go viral. No overthinking how to make the video aesthetic. Today's topic is something I'm particularly inspired to talk about. So today we're going to talk about independent thinking and building confidence, especially as a neurodivergent Black woman. Yes, okay. Juicy, interesting, very relevant topic, so let's get into it. Maturing is realizing that having a soft life is all about making hard choices and having hard conversations. So with the virality of the concept and the term soft life on social media, it is so relevant to know what and how you can actually get and sustain said soft life. But this video is not about how to get a soft life. This video is about independent thinking and building confidence. Confidence is a skill, and building your skills is what is going to allow you to sustain whatever kind of life you build for yourself, whether it's soft, hard, wet, I don't know. If you want to protect yourself and protect the life that you've built for yourself, no matter what kind of life that is, you need to build the skill of confidence and independent thinking. So what do I mean when I say independent thinking? Because it's about much more than just not following trends. It's about using your brain, your mind, your creativity, and your imagination. You can use these things to create and curate your reality. So now that we know that independent thinking is about more than just following trends, we can also see how building confidence plays directly into your ability to be able to think independently. If you're scared about what people think, if you're scared of rejection, if there's any fear or hesitation behind your decisions to be confident and think for yourself, then obviously, no matter how much you desire to think for yourself and be independent in your thinking, you will not be able to do that. So actually, we're going to start with just three things that you need to take away from this video in order to build your confidence. As a Black woman, as a neurodivergent, as all of the above, as an entrepreneur building something from scratch, as somebody who feels like they're doing it alone. So we'll be starting with 3 tips that I personally use and you can definitely use as well to build confidence. When you're an independent thinker, you will build a life that you love, and waking up every day will not be a struggle. That's not a promise. There's no downside to being an independent thinker when you think about it, as you are living your life for you. Your reality is literally yours and yours alone. Of course, we all have a shared consciousness, but your reality is everything that is a product of your mind. So if you're timid in your mind, what kind of life do you think you're gonna have? You're gonna have a life where people think they can take you for granted. People think they can push you over, disregard you, be inconsiderate towards you. But when you're confident, you can demand the things that you desire without shrinking, without wondering if you deserve it, without second guessing or negotiating with yourself about whether you should have said things. So let's get into it. The first is not internalizing external chaos. Do not internalize external chaos. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me give you a scenario. The terms of your relationship with this person is ambiguous, and that creates external chaos because you're scrolling on social media and now you've seen a video where somebody said a situationship is just one person with low self-esteem and blah 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 blah. So now you're thinking, am I the one with low self-esteem? No. The fact that you are in a situation that is ambiguous is not a 100% reflection of who you are as a person. You're whole whether you're in a relationship or outside of it. So being in a situation that is ambiguous cannot take away the fact that you are whole as a person and that you are not existing in a state of chaos. Now, if you're existing in a state of chaos, it's because you have internalized chaos. If you're living in a state of chaos, it's because you've internalized chaos. So how do you not internalize chaos? That should be a whole different video. But a quick way to not internalize chaos is to have an identity outside of the things that you do. Because you're not your job, you're not your hobbies, you're not the relationship that you're in, you're not, the things that you did yesterday, you're not the things that you're going to do tomorrow. You are a person, you are a mind, a soul, having a physical experience through your physical body. So you cannot attach your identity as a person, as a human being, to all of these external things, even though we express ourselves through this physical world. You have to know who you are outside of who somebody's perceiving you to be or how a situation depicts your character or mistakes that you made in the past. All of that is external, and you are a soul and a spirit. So remember that whenever it starts to get chaotic up here or in your heart, that I have a choice to not internalize this chaos. I have a choice to see myself outside of all of this chaos as a whole person who is at peace, because peace is what I desire. Your realities stem from your desires. If you're experiencing chaos and it's stemming from something that you desire, but you're wanting a change, then you have to do the inside work that it's going to take to shift your desire in order to attract what it is that you say you want. Talking is easy. Talk is cheap. It's the things that you do, not the things that you say, that influence the reality you have. Yes, it's easier said than done, of course. But if you don't know that you even have the option to opt out of internalizing all that chaos, then you are going to feel like you're stuck with it. You're going to feel like you need to run away from your own life, when this life that you have is a gift. Every single day is an opportunity for amazing things to come from you and come to you. So never internalize external chaos. You can try to understand the problem, but don't try to understand the problem as you. Of course, you have work to do on yourself. Everybody does. None of us are perfect. We're humans. But that doesn't make you a problem. If you are moving without a goal and a purpose on earth, then nothing probably makes sense to you, and you probably won't make sense to other people yet. You probably won't make sense to yourself. And that is a whole nother topic. Today we're talking about having a purpose, having a goal, and being driven in life, but needing more confidence and needing more of an independent mind in order to achieve and sustain that. So if you don't have a purpose in life, I think you need to get off YouTube and maybe go out into the real world and find that. Maybe you can find your purpose online, but I would say go out into the real world and find your purpose. There are so many people out there, and there's definitely one of them who needs you, who needs what you can do, what you bring to the table, and what you have to offer. So even the idea that you're broken and you have to fix yourself constantly, be constantly healing, is beating a dead horse. We're human. We have wounds, and sometimes those wounds take time to heal. So in retrospect, there are so many people walking around wounded. If you choose to internalize how they choose to react to their wounds and express their pain every single time, you will lose yourself. You will lose your identity. You lose your drive, you lose your purpose, you lose your confidence in who you are. So never internalize external chaos. Second tip for improving your confidence is to never let mistakes tear down your confidence. Everybody makes mistakes. I don't care who made you feel like you were above making a mistake. I don't care who put you on a pedestal. I don't care who told you that you had to be somebody who makes the right decision every single time. You don't. It's okay not to know something. It's okay to be mistaken. It's okay to misunderstand something. It's okay to need more time to process things. Whatever you think that your flaw is, I'm not saying that you should embrace it as an identity trait, but I'm saying don't let those mistakes be the only things that you remember when you think about yourself and the things that you've done. Don't let those things be the things that you remember when you think about what you deserve and how you want to be treated and how you want people to show up for you or how you want to show up. Don't let those mistakes define how you choose to show up moving forward. Those mistakes are okay, and everyone makes mistakes. And if you're neurodivergent, you're prone to making more mistakes than the average person. And that's okay. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I'm not saying be inconsiderate of other people. I'm not saying that these mistakes won't cost you something. I'm not saying that these mistakes won't have consequences, but I'm saying that they are not the make-all be-all, okay? Life will move on after that mistake has been made, and somebody else will make another mistake tomorrow and the day after. People will keep making mistakes because people are human, and humans make mistakes. And we're busy making machines because rather than coming to a state collectively where we are exploring what humanity is truly, we're trying to replicate it, we're trying to extract from it, we're trying to perfect it. I'm not sure why, but I digress. Being human means making mistakes, and being a neurodivergent human means that your world is completely different from a majority of what the collective world is experiencing. So if you don't give yourself the grace that you need, if you don't give yourself the love that you need, if you don't mirror to yourself that you are worth everything that you desire, that you are worth the best, that you are worthy of respect, love, affection, that you literally have been through so much, but here you are. You should be so proud. You should be so proud. And if you aren't, then I am proud of you. No letting mistakes define you. And do you know one thing that can help you do this better? One thing that can help you do this easier? Learning to take accountability before punishment is required. Let me say that again, slowly this time. Learn how to take accountability before punishment is required. Yes, I know. This requires a high level of emotional intelligence and a high level of self-awareness. Guess what? We are adults. Okay? We're adults. You're a big girl. You can handle having emotional intelligence and being self-aware. You can. I know, but you can do it. If you find yourself in situations where it's harder and harder for you to do these things, my love, are you happy? Are you okay? Blink twice if you need help. Because why are you in a situation that needs you to turn your self-awareness off? Why are you in a situation that needs you to turn your emotional intelligence off? Now, I can think of a couple situations where I just couldn't be bothered. But baby, I said this video was about us living a life with purpose. Us building something that we love, that we desire, that we can hold. So this isn't about doing things for the plot. So yes, being able to take accountability before punishment will save your life. And that is not an exaggeration. If you build the skill of knowing how to quit while you're ahead, my darling, you will be ahead of 90% of society. I promise you. I promise you. There are so many people whose name we would still remember if only they knew how to quit while they were still ahead. It's not about making a wrong decision. It's not about making a bad choice. It's about having the reflection to be like, whoa, is this who I am? Is this in line with what I believe to be true about myself? And if it's not, then you gotta step on the brakes and get out the car. So funny, I was on the couch earlier today just thinking to myself, as I always do, kind of one of those girls who's always in her head. Kind of funny thought that I actually remembered, so this one must be important and I'm going to share it with you guys. I'm picturing myself in a car. So I'm picturing myself in a car where I don't want to go where the person driving is taking me. But rather than turning to the person and saying, pull over, let's stop this car, I want to get out, I just keep looking at the window, trying to find my exit. I just kept like looking out the window, wondering and calculating when would be the best time to leave. And then I thought to myself, but how would you leave? You are in a moving vehicle. So if you take this back, so I'm asking myself, right? How is it that you're trying to formulate a plan to leave a moving vehicle and you think that in your head you can come up with a perfect plan? You can time it so perfectly that you can leave this vehicle without getting hurt. But you know it's a moving vehicle. Like, hello, is anybody home? But I'm thinking this to myself, right? Why are you always trying to jump out of moving vehicles and then wondering like why it's so hard? Wondering why there are no options that don't leave you hurt when you could just tell whoever's driving so you can get out. And I don't know if that whole scenario, that whole metaphor hit you as hard as it hit me, but I was like, whoa, okay. So if you want to leave a situation, don't leave your foot on the gas and start calculating how to jump out. You take your foot off the gas and then you leave. If you're avoiding the hurt and the disappointment that's going to come by having the conversation where we take our foot off the gas and I can leave, that's crazy. Because trying to jump out of a moving vehicle is even crazier. Like, that is you being avoidant and a coward and masking yourself as a victim. Because it's gonna look like you're a victim by the time you jump out that car and hurt yourself or whatever else ensues. You would have successfully made the person driving look like the offender, but it was your choice to jump out of the moving car. Anyway, well, that's that on self-reflection and self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Whew. The third thing that is going to help you build your confidence is not letting people tell you who you are. You need to know who you are before you step out into the world every single day. Stop going out into the world looking for mirrors and seeing versions of yourself being reflected to you. Stop letting people tell you who you are. You need to step out into the world every single day knowing exactly who you are, what you have to offer, what your goals are, what your desires are, what frequency you are operating on, what your tolerance level is. You need to know these things. I need to know these things. I'm definitely recording this video for myself as well because I am my own therapist. Trust me. I'm gonna be watching this back being like, Yes, everybody thinks you're chill and unproblematic, so now you show up everywhere trying to be chill and unproblematic. You don't have the capacity for the things that these people are requiring of you, and you don't have the capacity to be in these situations or environments. You don't have the capacity to give as much as people want you to give. You don't say anything. You don't stand up for yourself because you're afraid to tell them who you really are. And you're afraid because you think that they will reject you. You think that your relationship with people would change if they knew that you weren't who they thought you were, or you would feel like a hypocrite and have imposter syndrome. But you need to do away with all that letting people tell you who you are. If you were chill before and now you have more passion about things, have your passion about things unapologetically. And if you were passionate about things before, but now you're not anymore, you can take a step back unapologetically. Yes, easier said than done, of course. This being unapologetic thing, I'm still learning it myself. I'll probably still be learning it for a while, but that's the whole point. Just because I'm still learning to be unapologetic now, just because I'm still learning to be my most confident self now, just because I'm still learning in general does not make me unworthy of any of the things I desire. But will it affect my ability to sustain and hold these things? Yes, of course. Hence the consistent self-reflection, emotional intelligence, and self-awareness. Start questioning why you want the things you want, why you have the desires you have, and what things you're afraid to let go of. The things that you're most afraid to let go of are the things that you need to let go of the most. I saw this quote somewhere, and I'll try to remember it correctly. It says, "The people you're scared to lose are taking advantage of your lack." Let me read that again. The people you are scared to lose are taking advantage of your lack. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Does that like deeply resonate or go over your head? The people you are scared to lose are taking advantage of your lack. Simply put, whatever it is that you think this person brings into your life that you don't want to not have, that person on the other side knows that, and that's exactly why they're giving you what you want, but just not enough of it. Isn't that crazy? I feel like I literally needed to hear that even right now. I'm in a situation right now where something was given to me and then it was taken away, but I'm not sure why, you know, and I'm human, so obviously I have thoughts about it. I want to address it, I don't want to address it. I saw somewhere that your power is in the things that you don't address. I can't really take power away from that idea because it can prove to be true in certain contexts, but whether I want it to be true or not in my context is really up to me. I had all these varying like erratic feelings about it, and I almost started to internalize the chaos because it was like a loop in my head that wouldn't close. But in taking back my power and realizing that I don't have to internalize whatever external chaos there is, and that I am whole and I am me regardless of what mistakes I make or relationship I'm in or accomplishments that I achieve, I'm still me, and I should express me as authentically as I can. Whatever is hindering my expression of authenticity is what I need to work on. It's not that I need to fix myself, you know, it's not that you need to fix yourself. It's just that everybody has things that they would like to work on in order to be able to hold and have the reality that they desire for themselves. And I'm making this video because confidence and being able to think independently are two things that will help you and anyone out there who is desiring to be able to attain and sustain the life that they desire. And reflecting on all these things, finding out the answers will show you who you are. If you don't like it, you can change it. Yes, so I understand that reflecting on yourself and doing inner work is a lot of, it's emotionally tasking, and it can be scary to face yourself. But what's so scary about a truth that isn't permanent? This is one of the most amazing things about life. It can be said about me that I wake up and I dilly-dally and I lazy around and I'm unambitious most days. But then there's days like this when I show up passionate, I show up diligently. Yes, I want to be consistent. Yes, I tell myself every day that I am a consistent person because I want to be consistent. Even when I'm not being consistent, I still tell myself that I am a consistent person, because continuing to tell myself that is what allows me to act on my diligence to continue to do the things that I truly love. And I truly love doing this, sharing my heart with you guys. My point was, diligence is the starting point for consistency, and consistency is my goal. So in being diligent, I'm moving towards being consistent. So whatever is being said about my process or my journey towards being who I want to be is not my business. It's not my business. It also doesn't and shouldn't affect what goes on in my inner world if I know who I am truly, and if I know that I want to live in my purpose truly, if I know that I want to live the life that my soul yearns for truly. Nothing external matters. God did not call them to live the life that He called me to live. He called me to live the life that He called me to live. They are called to live the life that they were called to live. Another scenario that attempts to destabilize my internal world is the fact that I am a content creator. Obviously, I am also an entrepreneur. It's not unusual, but the people closest to me are not as supportive as I would want them to be. I'm a very community-oriented person, and I hate to throw that word around, but what I mean is that I love to show up for people in the same way that I would love for them to show up for me. Not that I'm expecting anything in return, but it just makes sense to have symbiotic relationships instead of transactional ones. A symbiotic relationship is one where your life is literally dependent on mine as mine is on yours. So there's no sense in hurting each other, right? But in a transactional relationship, I don't need to care about your well-being once the transaction is over. Which is why, no matter how much I try to wrap my head around why in a capitalist society, being okay with transactional relationships makes sense, because otherwise you find yourself in a lose-lose situation. This is something that I think to be true, but it's also hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, I guess. I am naturally inclined to have relationships that feel more symbiotic and personal and intimate, I guess. I digress. Now let's talk about a couple prompts, about 3 or 4 prompts that you can use for self-reflection. Let's get into it. The first question to reflect on when thinking about how to think more independently is, what's the story you're telling yourself about that situation, and what informs that story? I have this thing where I send people cute videos and pictures of me to show them my outfit or just like update them on my day. And if I don't get a response back, I'm a little disappointed. And sometimes it's not about me. Some external factor that I know nothing about influenced their ability to text me back and respond. But because I have this story that I tell myself that anybody can take a second to reply, and it really doesn't take that long to respond with a compliment, I get offended and disappointed when I don't get a response back. Imagine telling myself that story and then scrolling on TikTok and seeing a video, or 3 things guys do when they don't like you, or 5 signs your boyfriend hates you. I would immediately internalize all of that information because it feeds into the story that I'm telling myself about the situation, even though somewhere in my rational mind I know that that's not what's happening. It's easy to fall into the trap of finding or hearing information that reinforces the story we're telling ourselves about a situation and just running with it. But if you take a step back and be like, hold on, let's take a breather and interrogate what we're telling ourselves about the situation, why we're even telling ourselves that. I'm not saying you need to therapize yourself in every single moment or overinflate every single emotion, but you do need to question and reflect on the stories you tell yourself and why, and what informs those stories. If negative thoughts are informing your stories, then no matter what happens, those negative thoughts are going to inform every story you tell yourself. So you need to be careful about what is informing the story you're telling yourself. Secondly, who benefits from the information or the beliefs resulting from the information that I am being told, that I am digesting, that I am accepting, that I am listening to? Who benefits from this information? These days, anybody will get on the internet and say anything, their opinion, and they might even pass it off like facts. They'll pass it off as wisdom. They'll pass it off as whatever. But they're necessary. They're necessary to the human mind and growth and using your imagination and creativity. Everything is like a double-edged sword, even imagination and creativity. Proceed with caution, okay? In all things, keep an open mind. Growing up, virtue as a woman was taught a lot. But then in questioning what virtues I want to have or not have, I have to question who benefits from these virtues. And if I'm finding out that it's somebody else's best interest at the heart of a virtue or a decision or whatever it is that I'm supposed to be at the center of, then that right there needs checking. The third and last prompt that you will use and take away from this video for your self-reflection in order to improve your skill of independent thinking is asking yourself, can I accept the reality of a situation without needing to control the narrative? Again, slower for the people in the back. Can I accept the reality of a situation without needing to control the narrative? Why? Because a lot of the times when something happens and we call people or we get our phones out to post a video about the situation, it's not only about that we feel hurt or betrayed or triggered, it's that we also feel the need to control the narrative. We need people to know that we were hurt. We need people to validate what has happened to us, which is not bad. You know, to each their own. Bottom line is, if you are interrogating whether or not you're reacting based on your need to control the narrative or you're reacting based on something else, then you'll find yourself in less stickier situations. That is everything for this video. I really hope this video helps somebody be more confident. It helps you be more curious about how to think more independently. What would you do if nobody was looking? What would you think of yourself without everybody else constantly telling you or projecting onto you? How can you be somebody who can live the life that you're so desirous? I'm Luswara Omarodian. Follow me on all my socials. Aren't they so cute? I just got this curly flip over done. It's a sewing. Isn't it so cute? I think this is my signature hairstyle now. I think this would be so gorgeous for summer, but I did it in the spring. I'll probably do braids in the summer and then back to the flip over sewing. If you like my hair, leave me a comment and I will send you a kiss back because I really love attention, so if you leave me a comment, I will literally be so elated. But I'll also be fine if you don't, which is the whole point of this video. Exactly. All right, my darlings, goodbye. Have a great month of May. Have a great 2026. I will see you again soon. Mwah. You is kind, you is smart, you is important. Be bold. Live like it's your last day, because it might be. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All right, bye guys.